6:30 now on our Friday morning. Next week, parts of Washington will move forward with reopening, but it does not impact us here in the inland Northwest. Why Spokane and the East region remain in phase 1.
Now we're taking you outside where we have a dense fog advisory in place this morning. Visibility down below a quarter of a mile in many areas.
Over 500 words have been added to the English dictionary, from pod to second gentleman. We're talking about some of those words that stuck out.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Up with KREM. Feeling good on our Friday morning. A coveted bottle of ocean spray is now on display at the Museum of Idaho, made famous by this TikTok video. Well, that man is from southern Idaho, and this week he signed that bottle. It will now be saved in the museum's archives forever.
Wow. Like a famous bottle of cranberry juice.
Who would have thought? Here in 2021.
Yeah, never.
All famous from TikTok. You know, we talked about that earlier this week about how videos go viral. It's cool. Now it's not just viral, he's going to live in history forever.
Yeah. For people 20 years from now are going to be like, why is there a bottle of cranberry juice in this museum?
Yeah. I know. What is that going to say about our generation?
I don't think anyone's going to question 2020 and what happened that year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah. In any museum, it's just going to be an accepted fact. 2020 was just very strange.
The little placard is just going to say, this bottle of cranberry juice brought about the end of the weirdness.
Brought us all together.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, turning our attention to the weather, what are we looking at this morning?
Oh, that's me. All right, let's get you out the door. It's a foggy kind of start to the day, and that dense fog has prompted a dense fog advisory for parts of the inland Northwest. And with temperatures hovering around freezing in parts of the region, this fog is likely freezing fog for some of you. About a half mile in downtown Spokane, less than a tenth of a mile of visibility as you make your way over toward Airport Heights. Sandpoint, Coeur d'Alene in some dense fog early on this morning, and that dense fog advisory stretches from Spokane to Coeur d'Alene and up into North Idaho this morning. It's likely it's a little more widespread than this advisory makes it look, so as you head out the door, just be ready for it. It is going to be a foggy start to the day. Temperatures down near or around freezing means that we do see some refreezing from yesterday's melt and some of that fog freezing to the ground, so just be aware of what you're driving on. It could easily change from grippy road to ice, black ice, or even just icy snow like what we've been seeing the past couple mornings. We got a push of moisture working into the southern portions of the state, kind of dying off early this morning. I don't think that grows as widespread as what this model makes it look like. I think maybe later on today you get a couple of raindrops on the windshield, and that's really going to be about it, with temperatures soaring. Look at that, up near 40 degrees again today, and I don't need to remind you that that is temperatures above normal. Tim?
All right, Jeremy, thanks so much. Let's talk about 3 things you need to know for Washington's reopening plan. There were a lot of big announcements yesterday at the governor's press conference, so let's get right to number 1. So here's what we know right now. The counties moving to phase 2 represent about half of the state's population, according to Governor Inslee. In phase 2, a maximum of 5 people from outside of a person's household can gather indoors, and indoor dining is allowed at 25% capacity until 11 p.m. Now, indoor fitness centers can also open at 25% capacity. Also, the East region, including Spokane, will remain in phase 1. This was a big announcement yesterday for our area compared to the west side, where they are moving to phase 2. Right now, we are meeting 2 of the 4 requirements to move forward. We either need to lower our test positivity rate or lower our case rates. And number 3, the Washington Hospitality Association says they're pleased with the steps forward, but still thinks the reopening plan falls short. Now, the association says it wants to work with the state on a plan to allow indoor dining at 50% capacity.
The average restaurant loses $25,000 a month when we're closed. We lose $18,000 a month at 25%. And that's why 50% is that one we need to push to.
The president and CEO of the association is critical of the governor's plan, saying half of the state will be under completely different restrictions than the other half. Jen?
All right, Tim, thank you so much. Well, for folks at home, you may want to grab a pen and paper for this next story. Today is day 3 of the mass COVID-19 vaccination clinic in Spokane. We do want to remind folks that appointments are full right now. No appointments will become available until more vaccines can be delivered. So once there are new appointments that are live, patients can book those on the Chaz Health website. If you don't have access to the internet, or maybe you're not tech savvy, keep these numbers handy for next week. That is when organizers say the Department of Health COVID-19 hotline will be ready to use. Organizers say it should be ready by Monday or Tuesday, but again, it's all dependent on when they're going to get the next round of vaccines before they can make those appointments. And right now that's undetermined. Dana Marie?
Well, let's switch gears now and take a look at what's trending online this morning. Webster's Dictionary has added 520 new words. As you can imagine, terms from coronavirus made their list, but they didn't take it over. This is just a handful of them behind me. So, murder hornets. Flex, that's an act of bragging or showing off. The @ sign was actually added. That's to respond to a challenge or dispute the claim or opinion of someone, like don't come at me. BIPOC, that's an acronym for Black, Indigenous, People of Color, was also added. ASMR and Second Gentleman, also Wet Market, Pod, and Bubble, all words that I know we've all said during 2020 and 2021. So also another one, hard pass, was a firm refusal or rejection of something. If you watch this show, you gotta love it. Also Silver Fox, pretty self-explanatory. And then Makerspace, a communal public space in a workshop which helps makers work on small projects like this one right here. So what word do you think defines 2020? Text us 509-448-2000. You might see the answer here on TV this morning. I know we've gotten a lot of great ones. Some of the words that I've seen are chaotic, energetic. Send them in. We're going to take a look at those in just a minute. All right, well, if you're having trouble picking just one word, not even the Oxford Dictionary could choose just one to describe the 2020 year that it was. Normally, there's usually a word from the year from the Oxford Dictionary, but they decided to do something different for 2020. On their website, they say 2020 is just a year that couldn't be described in one word. They decided to create an entire report based on how language adapted throughout the year. They called it, quote, words of an unprecedented year. So here you can see part of that report that focuses on the top words used once the coronavirus began. Now, this is a map of the world specific to regions. Shelter in place is the word most used for the U.S. And then lockdown is tied to the U.K., Canada, and Australia. I would say lockdown is a word that I said way too many times.
Yeah.
That I wish I didn't have to.
Or shut down, yeah.
Quarantine.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot how much I enjoy going out and experiencing public. I'm assuming I still like it, right?
We don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah, you know my word of 2021 once everybody gets vaccinated? Party.
Party.
Yeah.
I love that. That's going to be the year of 2021 is party.
Yeah, get that needle in my arm when
ready.
I'm able, and it's going to be party. That's going to be the name of the game.
I think the one
What
for
a
me
year,
would be
you know?
social distancing. And it's obviously it's not a phrase that many of us used before 2020. Of course, it had been around, but that's the one that comes to mind of like, oh, of course we know what social distancing is now. I don't think many people did early on in 2020.
Yeah, everybody's like, we're together apart. Tim, stick your hand out to your right. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Stick your hand out to your right. More. Together.
A virtual high five.
Virtual high fives are a thing in 2020.
There we go.
I like that. I needed that today.
Well, everyone, keep your suggestions coming. We are cracking up at some of the thoughts that you have this morning. You can text us at 509-448-2000. All right, 6:39 now. There is a new job this morning looking for people who snore. Coming up after the break, what mattress review site will pay you to catch some Z's?
I'm going to be rich. Well, I guess I got to do weather too. I can't just sleep and make all this money. Coming up after the break, we're talking about warm temperatures and a shift in the weather pattern that brings about more widespread showers this weekend.